Hello, everyone. Welcome to the sixth episode of Black Nerds Matter. I'm your host, Deidric Davis. Today, we have Cameron Cooper with us. He's a recent graduate from Morehouse College from Atlanta, Georgia. He is a SMASH Morehouse Scholar alumnus, McNair Scholar, a TDP 2022 alumnus, and a USHA alumnus from Morehouse School of Medicine. He is a current health equity scholar pursuing his master's in public health at Brown University. How you doing, Cam?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Good. We got Killer Cam in the building, man. I'm ready for this, man. Let's get this going. Let's get it
Yes,
going.
sir.
Yeah, so got a few questions for you. Excited for you to answer them. Just happy to have you with us today. So can you walk us through your journey into STEM? Like what sparked your passion for science, and how did programs like SMASH from Morehouse, McNair, and the other fellows you've been a part of helped your path towards public health?
So my path to STEM actually started in high school. So I was always interested in the math and sciences, but when I heard about the SMASH Morehouse program, it was starting off in Morehouse, and it started at UCLA, UC Berkeley. And the first time they moved to the East Coast was when they started at Morehouse. So it was one of my computer science professors, Miss Fletcher, and she was telling me about the program, and she told me like the last minute. So I'm applying to the program last minute and everything, doing my interviews at the school, like staying to school late, getting letters of recommendation, and it was just a real good program. Like SMASH is Summer Math and Science Honors Academy for young minority students interested in the field of STEM. So did all of that, did my application, did my interviews, had to test to get into the program. We had to do like math tests, science tests, critical thinking tests, critical analysis tests. And so we did all of those things, and I finally got into the program, and it just opened up like the whole world of STEM to me. Like we were taking college classes in high school. So I was a freshman going into my sophomore year that summer. So we were staying like on Morehouse's campus, like living with college students that were taking over college classes in the summertime. It was a good experience, and we had networking nights on Mondays. Every Monday we had a networking night, so we would dress up and network with different STEM professionals, whether they were dentists, doctors, lawyers, just like any aspect of STEM or any aspect of professional studies.
Awesome. Is that going into college?
Yeah, that was
You were
going
hanging
in.
out.
That was like before college. So remind
Oh,
you, so I'm taking these college classes. Like most of my peers were probably having their summer breaks off, and we were just in classes, learning things, taking field trips, and just staying on the college campus. So it was probably college readiness before we actually went to college.
so were you like a junior or a senior in high school when this was happening, or what year were
So
you in?
when I first got into the program, when SMASH Morehouse started in Morehouse on the East Coast, I started off my freshman year going into my sophomore year. So it's those summers. So freshman year going to sophomore year going to junior year, and then junior year going to senior year that summer.
Oh,
So it's
that's really cool. I'm sure that gave you a leg up on what you're doing now.
Oh yeah, so it gave me a leg up in high school. Definitely, like my grades improved. I was like the second highest GPA in my class. Like it was everything. Like it was really good. Like I was sharper in all my subjects. Like especially sharper in my STEM subjects as well.
So when you were doing that, did the credit you got from those classes transfer into your college credit for when you're university?
They didn't transfer credit, but we did have projects, and I did get to connect with different STEM mentors like early on and get legs up like internships as well. And then also when I did take those classes, I did dual enrollment. I don't know if Florida has dual enrollment, but dual enrollment is basically where high school students can do college classes and get college credit. So after my first year of SMASH, I applied to go into the dual enrollment program, and I was taking college classes at Georgia Military College.
Okay, yeah, I've seen programs like that. When I went to high school in Texas, we had dual credit stuff, but I ended up doing AP classes instead. Yeah, take the test to end and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, I've heard of dual credit before. That's cool that they got you guys into all of that. That's really yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even know programs like that existed.
Yeah, like it was the grace of God by my professor. Like she was telling me, Dr. Fletcher, Miss Fletcher, she was telling me about the program, and I just applied. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just apply for it and just see what it's talking about. And then it came with all these blessings and opportunities.
That's awesome. So were you the only person of color in that program, or were there other people?
It was a lot of people from different aspects and different races, but it was mostly for like minority students. So
Okay.
because it was on Morehouse's campus, majority of the students were Black, but we had Asian students, we have Hispanic students, Puerto Rican students as well.
That's great to get a diverse experience like that. I just even think about back when I was taking AP classes when I was in school, like there weren't really many other Black kids in those classes.
Yeah.
So I know you have hands-on experience in marine science with TDP. How is that transferring into the medical field, and how did you go from doing medical stuff to marine science, or did you start with marine science first? How does that whole thing go together?
So I had an interest in both medical science and marine science. So I just wanted to like weigh my options. So I did my first program, my first internship in college with the TDP program. I love that experience. It definitely helped me with my research skills and coding with R. And so after that, I had my second internship at Fred Hutch Cancer Biology Center, and we were coding with R, coding with Python, and I'm getting my computational biology skills up and writing manuscripts along with what I did in TDP as well. And then after that summer, this past summer, I went to Cleveland Clinic and I had to basically do the same thing, just learning computational biology, coding skills, and writing manuscripts again. So it transfers and builds up, like no matter what field or what subject. Like I think coding definitely has an impact on everything that you're going to do in STEM. You have to kind of learn how to do computer science and coding in a little bit. So yeah, I think you could take your critical thinking skills from marine biology and transfer them also to the medical fields as well. And also, I have an older cousin. He graduated from Morehouse too. His name is Darnell Cooper, and he has his own doctor's office. And so, when I needed to get some money and work, and I would go to his office and learn the things that he would be doing, and I also get paid too.
That's awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of intersectionality because I think of even there's people I've worked with who are mathematicians or statisticians who end up doing ecology work or marine work. And it's just a lot of that STEM stuff you learn, like the scientific method and just being able to look at resources and go through and just analyze scientific papers. That's all STEM fields. And so with me saying that, what are the differences between the two fields? What have you noticed between them, like the disparities, specifically between health and marine science?
Well, with marine science, a lot of people aren't interested in what's happening out in the ocean or what is even happening out in the world. Like most people are like blinded to the fact of what's going on in the ocean, what's going on with climate change. And within public health and in the medical field, most people don't know what's going on with their diet and how their diet can lead to different diseases like cardiovascular disease, peripheral artery disease, like all of it plays a part. Like climate change can affect your environment, and your environment can affect your diet, and it all plays a part and can create many health disparities.
Okay. So that's interesting. I'm just thinking about so what do you enjoy most about doing health stuff versus what you didn't do in marine science? So which part of those do you like, and what parts do you not like about both different disciplines?
I definitely love the research aspect of going out into the field and collecting data in marine science, but I also love the fact that I can also work with people in the health equity field within public health. So I'm getting my degree in environmental public health policy. So it's basically taking the fact of what's going on in the environment and how it affects people. And it creates different health disparities and how we can combat against those different health disparities due to climate change and due to the environment.
Okay. So for instance, maybe a place that experiences high levels of flooding or whatever, how that could affect the health of the people living there. Say
Yep.
for instance, some island in the West Indies that's getting hit by, hurricanes and all kinds of stuff.
Or a place where there is a lot of pollution, like air pollution, and how it affects their cardiovascular health and how does it affect their respiratory health as well.
Okay. And so you went to an HBCU. Have you ever had any experiences outside of an HBCU when it comes to science or internships or anything like that?
Yeah, so with TDP going to UCLA, with Fred Hutch going to University of Washington's campus and going on Fred Hutch Cancer Center Research Center campus, and then going to Cleveland Clinic, where there's majority white or Caucasian counterparts, and going to Case Western campus, staying on Case Western campus while I was working at Cleveland Clinic. I think it gives you a very diverse background to understand and engage with different people along different journeys and different racial aspects or sexualities or things of that nature.
That's just so cool hearing from you about you growing up and being in Black programs, like starting off. Like I didn't start getting into stuff with other Black people until TDP, so that's awesome for you that you got to experience that like
Yeah.
damn near the whole way through. I'm sure that makes it easier to like when you see your peers, you see people that look like you, and you can look up to them. So I'm sure you walk to UCLA, you're like, damn, like there's no Black people here, just like walk around the campus and all that kind of stuff, man.
But I think that's the thing that happened with the SMASH Morehouse program and also going to Morehouse College. Like they prepare you for that. Like I could say like Morehouse, Spelman, and Howard University, they prepare you to be in those settings where you're gonna be the minority. Like you're coming from a school that's cultivating you as a minority student, where Black people are just everywhere in that school, but they're cultivating you into a strong and independent and also collaborative individual who can work amongst the majority as a minority.
Okay, that's awesome. And would you be able to share specific experiences or moments that helped you navigate both your academic journey and your identity as a Black man in science and medicine?
So those experiences, just seeing different Black professors and Black mentors that were at Morehouse, and just knowing that they gave me the courage and the push that they were able to do something powerful. Like, okay, for example, we have this professor, he's a cell biology professor. His name is Dr. Haynes. And Dr. Haynes is like the smartest guy I know at Morehouse. Like the smartest man I know in the biology department. I swear, like he will write cell biology like he was preaching from the Bible. Like he knows everything
Man,
about cells and everything like that. And just seeing him like my sophomore year and seeing a Black man, and Dr. Haynes was what 79 during that time, and he's still teaching at Morehouse. He's 84 now, I think. Yeah,
whoa.
he's 84 now, and he was just so fascinated in cell biology, and he was so energetic, and I was just like looking at him. I was like, dang, like he's a smart Black man, and he's teaching this with all this energy. I know I could do something great. I know I can do whatever I need to do and put my mind to it. And he was just telling all of us, like, if you put your mind to it and you put down the work and you stay consistent, you stay driven, you're going to accomplish your goals.
And that's cool. He's like a cell biology like OG, seeing like an older Black dude doing something like that. That's awesome, man. Like I've never even seen that even just with professors I've seen. I'm sure that's amazing.
Yeah. And also to add on is he also brought like students that graduated from Morehouse that were taking this class in 2010, 2005, that were taking this class, and they coming back as doctors. They're coming back as researchers, epidemiologists, and they're just telling us like Dr. Haynes really inspired them, and he was one of those professors that's going to push you to be the best that you can be.
Dude, that's shout out Dr. Haynes, man. He sounds like been doing a lot of great stuff for a lot of great people.
Oh
That's
yeah.
awesome. So, speaking about HBCUs, what do you think that HBCUs uniquely offer Black students, particularly in fields like yours? Because I didn't go to one, so I don't know much about them, and I want to get as much information as I can.
I think HBCUs give you a perspective of seeing someone of your skin color in the position that you're trying to be in, or they know people in the position that you're trying to be. So as another professor, two professors named Dr. Young and Dr. Sharif, they will hold up like seminars on Tuesdays where recent graduates or graduates from like years ago from Morehouse come and speak to us about their job and what they're doing as a biologist or a statistician or epidemiologist or a doctor or a dentist, and just talking to us and just empowering us. And I think that's one of the things that certain HBCUs have. Like when alumni comes back on for homecoming, before homecoming week, and they come back and speak to the class, like people, like students in the class that's taking these biology classes, organic chemistry classes, physics classes, and telling you like you can get through this because I got through this. I failed just about 2-3 exams. I had to retake the class, but I still graduated and I still became something great. And I think that's the key to some HBCUs. I think seeing someone in the position that you're trying to be in that looks just like you, and also having programs. A lot of HBCUs have a lot of programs where Black students can get together, or clubs where we can get together and share internships for each other to get these opportunities as well.
Okay. Can you explain, there's a couple terms I heard you say before, and could you explain what an epidemiologist is and then exactly what homecoming week is for an HBCU?
Epidemiologist is someone who studies and tracks the behavior of different diseases, and also they track the behavior of people who react to certain diseases and try to combat against those diseases and see like what can they do to eliminate or lower the disease infection rate or spread. And homecoming is basically like it's like a big party. It's like a week, a big party where alumni comes back. It's barbecues everywhere, cookouts, parties. Like the homecoming game is fun and just like it's just a big party for like a whole week. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So when you talk about epidemiology, could an epidemiologist be looking at like, I don't know, hypertension in like the Black community or something like that? Would that
Tracking the rates of hypertension within the Black community.
okay? And so I know you're pursuing your master's. I mean, congrats on that, bro.
Thank you,
Straight up, I
thank you,
mean,
thank you.
that's a big decision, and I'm sure that's going to give you a lot of things in life. But I know a lot of people choose between doing a PhD and a master's. What made you decide to do a master's instead of a PhD, or maybe you're doing a PhD later?
So I decided to do my master's because I don't think I want to do a thesis. And with my master's program, I can either do a thesis or a practicum, which is basically creating a project to implement within the community of Rhode Island, because Brown University is in Providence, Rhode Island. And also, I had a full ride scholarship with the Health Equity Scholars Program. It offered me a full ride scholarship to get my master's. And if I did want to pursue my PhD, I can pursue my PhD within my master's. So I would just have to do another 2 years after I complete my master's.
Okay. Okay, so what particularly got you into health? I know you're really into fitness and things like that. What got you particularly into health? And you were just like, man, I want to save lives. I want to help people transform the way that they, take care of their bodies. What made you pick that out of everything else you could look at? For instance, like getting rid of marine science since you don't care about us in the water and everything.
Nah, I just never that. It's never that. Like I'm gonna always be a marine scientist true at heart, and I'm gonna always keep up scuba diving. Like, that was pretty fun with TV. But my minor was in public health, and just taking my first public health class and intro to epidemiology class, it was just fascinating. Like learning about how COVID affected us during 2019 to 2020 and how all these epidemiologists, public health statisticians, biostatisticians, public health policymakers, the increase of jobs and the increase of knowledge about it. Because I never knew about public health until 19. Like I never knew what public health was, but it was just that interest. And so I got my minor in it. I enjoyed the classes. I thought they were fascinating. I thought they were pretty cool too, with the projects as well.
Okay. That's cool. Because I think of a lot of times with doctor, when people think of doctor, they think medical doctor. But like for me now that I'm doing STEM and like doing marine science, I think of doctor just someone with a PhD. So it's cool knowing that someone I'm actually talking to is doing the medical field and seeing what all the ins and outs of that. And so what do you think is what's something about the medical field that you have really enjoyed, that you've experienced differently because you're Black, or you think might be different if you weren't?
So with me working at Cleveland Clinic this past summer as an intern in the vascular and thoracic health department, it's unique to see a Black doctor work with Black patients because like they feel more comfortable seeing someone that looks like them versus like a white doctor that they might think that, oh, they don't really care about me, or they're just doing this because of their job, or how like people look at people. I mean, well, how people of different races might not trust someone from another race because they don't look like them, or they just think that they're not culturally aware or culturally grounded within that culture. And so having that experience of being Black within the field, it's like, dang, like people look at you like, oh, like Black people can do it. Like it's like if this same thing with marine science, like seeing a Black man in marine science, like for me, for instance, like me having an internship with TDP inspired a lot of Morehouse students that, oh, I want to be interested in marine science. Like you did this, like you got your scuba diving license, you had a project, like you wrote a manuscript and doing all this, you went out the country, like I want to do this. And it's just like it opens another gateway, so people can see like if you could do it, I could do it too. So I think that's pretty cool to be in the medical field or any STEM field.
That's all. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
So what's an issue in public health that you're really looking forward to tackling once you get done with school and get done with like your project and all that? You're free, you got that MA next to your name on LinkedIn and all that. What's the next thing you trying to tackle and help and change in the world?
So right now, so my project that I was working on at Cleveland Clinic, it was on peripheral artery disease in underrepresented minority communities. And I want to see how our environments where people are in metropolitan cities that don't have a lot of green or trees around, how that affects them from getting PAD within poor communities, within poor Black and Hispanic communities, especially because PAD is largely influencing those communities. And PAD is basically peripheral artery disease, which is stenosis within the arteries or veins. So it's basically when plaque builds up or fatty deposits or calcium deposits build up in your veins, and it creates a decrease in blood flow. When you have a decrease in blood flow going into your limbs, it can create gangrene. It can cause someone having a stroke, it can cause someone to have a heart attack, and yeah.
So does any of that have anything to do with like the gout? I know that disease because I used to watch Everybody Hates Chris when I was a kid, and that's like
Yeah.
a medical one I've always remembered of was like the gout because his foot was messed up and all that. Does it have anything to do with that?
Yeah, so actually, like if you feel sharp pains or if you have ulcers on your leg, specifically on your feet, and they're not healing up as quickly, you probably have PAD, and it can have a gout to it or gout or gangrene. And eventually, when you have gangrene, wet or dry, if you have wet gangrene, that means the infection is basically spreading very, very fast and rapidly, and you'll have to have the amputation.
So do you think you're ever gonna come back to marine science in any kind of way, or just stay with diving, or are you gonna do some research in it, or what's going on? You leaving us for good, or what's up, man? What's up?
Not leaving marine science for good. Like I think life is a journey, and I can always go back to school. Like that's one thing I've learned. Like you can always go back. It's never too late to get a degree. It's never too late to get any type of degree that you want. So I remember hearing Peggy's story, and she was discovering life and doing jobs and just learning stuff about herself. And then she went to go get her PhD in marine science at the age of like 30, I think. I remember us having a conversation like that. And I was like, okay, it's never too late to get a degree, so I can just, do the things that I'm interested in right now, and then I can always pick it back up.
I mean, it sounds like you've had a bunch of wonderful mentors. I mean, some of them are mine too.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm biased in what I'm saying. But does any of that make you want to go into academia or do any kind of teaching?
They probably not teaching, probably like mentorship programs, definitely like for young Black students, Black and Hispanic students that come from the environments that I came from, like metropolitan cities where we don't actually see. Because I came from like Clayton County. It's in Georgia, and it's like South Georgia, and we only have like just about like most of the people that I went to school with were Black and Hispanic, and we didn't see like doctors or dentists or lawyers or marine sciences where we came from. Like we seen either people were getting a job straight out of high school, going to the military, and a few of us only went to college.
So how does that transform when you go home? So when you're home and you go back to, I'm not sure if you still live where you grew up at all, but how do people react to you when you tell them what you've done and where you've been and all that? Do you feel like you're inspiring others, or how does that whole work?
So actually, I go back to the high school and talk to some of the high school students, and they're actually inspired from what I'm doing. And a lot of my professors are very proud of me. A lot of my friends are very proud of me, saying like, you did something that a lot of us never did or never had an opportunity to do. But with you doing this, it's opening up an opportunity for a lot of other students following your footsteps or to create their own footsteps because they see that you went out there and got the opportunities and the mentorship and the leadership that you need to do something great.
I mean, you get to be like a hometown hero, show off all your
Yeah,
stuff, pull out the white coat and the stethoscope and show and let them know what you up to, man. That's awesome, bro.
yeah, man.
So after doing all these different prestigious programs, doing all these internships, and even doing your master's, what kind of advice would you give to a young Black student kind of come up? So if my little brother wants to become a doctor, what would you tell him?
So I would definitely tell them don't be afraid to reach out. Be consistent in the things that you want to do. If you really want to do something, you're going to put in the work and effort to get your grades right, to make these connections, to try to find research or programs, because there's always programs everywhere. You just have to look in the right places and just look it up. It only takes you have the world in your hands with your phone. If you have your phone and you can just look something up, like, hey, I need an internship in marine biology, or I need an internship in public health, or I need an internship with Cleveland Clinic. Just have those internships and always work on your networking skills, because networking, you don't know what someone else know. And a lot of times it's not what you know, it's about who you know. And sometimes when you're applying for these internships, some of the internships aren't on the web, like aren't on Google. But when you talk to someone about an internship, they can give you an internship opportunity that's not on Google or LinkedIn. So, most definitely make those connections, be consistent, and network, and keep on grinding, and believe in yourself. That's the main thing. Believe that you can do it.
So how was transitioning from undergrad to graduate program? I know you were saying school was kind of tough and all that going on. How is that?
So it's definitely an adjustment coming from undergrad, especially an undergrad, which is an HBCU, to coming from Atlanta, Georgia, where it's hot most of the time, going to Rhode Island and it's cold, to Ivy League that's a PWI as well. It's definitely a different adjustment, but I don't think it's nothing that Morehouse didn't prepare me for. I think it's still the same work. You still have to turn in your assignments. You still have to do everything that you need to do. It's just on a higher level in undergrad. It's just more work, more writing, more research. Undergrad.
Okay, so maybe not necessarily school, but the lifestyle. I mean, going from HBCU to like a PW, like you were saying, what are the differences in that? Because which one's been harder for you, transferring from an HBCU to a PWI, or going from undergrad to a master's? Which part has been harder?
I think going from CU to a PWI is definitely more difficult, because more people are willing to help you. At an HBCU, like, I could just go to my professor's office during any time and like not even set up hours for visitation. Or I could just walk into her office and be like, "Hey, Dr. Haynes, like, I need help with this subject. Like right now, I need help to go over glycolysis and all of this." And but going to a PWI, you have to set up these office visits. It's all about setting up times and dates, and you can't just walk into their office like without a time or a date to have a meeting. So it's definitely that aspect. And also, everyone's willing to help you in the HBCU. What I've seen from Morehouse, like, I can go up to my classmates and be like, "Hey man, I need help with this assignment." "Hey, okay, bet, we can do this together. We can go to the library." But going to Brown, you can ask someone to help you for an assignment. They kind of like look at you, because most people aren't like your skin color or they aren't your race, and they kind of like look at you. It's kind of like cliquey a little bit, but I think you can still navigate through it. My scholarship program, everyone's willing to help within the Health Equity Scholars Program, and I can also have my peers help me as well. So.
I just think about when I went to a PWI and how it could be clicky. I mean, even when I was in high school and middle school, going to predominantly white schools, it was kind of black kids with the black kids, white kids with the white kids, and the intersectionality was never really there unless it was sports related, pretty much, especially being from Texas, where it seemed kind of, I'm not gonna lie, just gentrified. It's just how it was. So it was very much, it felt like that in classroom. And then the only place it didn't was, in basketball court on the track, where it's like, we have to be a team, we have to be together. But it's good that you're getting those good experiences and even just doing well in that program. And I'm glad that you're a beacon of hope to like people that you grew up around. I mean, I can't imagine how that feels. I haven't been back to my hometown since I left college, so I'm happy to see how people that go back are able to give back to their communities. Because I mean, shoot, as soon as I moved, my parents moved, so it was just, I never had to go back. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cam. It was awesome having you. I'm really glad you were able to make time for Black Nerds Matter. It's a big deal to me. I'm sure it's a big deal to everyone else is going to be able to hear your story. So yeah, everybody check out Cam Coop 26 on Instagram. Keep up with Cam. He gonna give you a fitness tutorial and everything. You're gonna see some pull-ups on
Hey
there,
man, if you
everything.
need a fitness
He got
workout,
you.
I got you. I got you, brother. I got you. Got you.
All right, bro. I appreciate that.
Thank
All
you,
right, everyone.
brother.
Have a great day.
Have a good one too, brother. Much love.